For decades, a select group of wealthy nations, primarily those in the West, wrote the rules of the global economy, dictating trade policies, financial regulations, and investment strategies that shaped international commerce. They wielded significant influence, shaping the world in their image through powerful international institutions and economic policies. But today, that era is ending, as the established order faces unprecedented challenges. Power is shifting, redistributing across the globe, and the world is no longer a monologue solely dictated from Washington or London, the traditional centers of global power. Instead, we see a vibrant and at times chaotic dialogue unfolding on the world stage between established powers and rising challengers, each vying for influence and a seat at the table. At the heart of this new rivalry, this competition for global influence, the G7, representing the old guard, the established economic powers, and the BRICS, a coalition of emerging economies, rapidly growing and asserting their influence, demanding a bigger role in shaping the global agenda and influencing international policy. Their contest isn't just about numbers, about GDP figures and trade balances, it's about who gets to decide the future of global governance, international standards, and the very direction of our world. The choices made by these blocs, the agreements they forge, will ripple across the globe, impacting every nation and every individual, affecting everything from energy prices and access to resources, to technology, innovation, and the digital infrastructure that connects us all. As alliances shift and power diffuses, creating a more multipolar world, understanding this dynamic is crucial for navigating the complexities and uncertainties of the world of tomorrow. The outcome is uncertain, the future unwritten, but one thing is clear, undeniably clear. The world we knew, the established order that defined the 20th century, is fading into the past, and a new order, still undefined and evolving, is taking shape before our very eyes. The G7, a group often discussed in international relations, represents the world's most advanced democracies, a collection of nations including the US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. These countries, each with its unique history and global presence, form a powerful economic and political bloc. In the aftermath of World War II, they played a pivotal role in building the post-war financial system, spearheading the creation of crucial institutions like the IMF and World Bank, designed to foster global economic stability and development. For decades, their collective unity and significant economic weight allowed them to effectively set the global agenda, influencing policies and shaping international norms. But times have changed and the global landscape has undergone a dramatic transformation. The G7's share of global GDP has shrunk considerably, reflecting the rise of new economic powers. Indeed, new powers are rising, challenging the established order and reshaping the global economic balance. Once, during a period of unparalleled dominance, they accounted for over 2/3 of the world's economy. Now, that share has diminished significantly, representing a much smaller portion of the global economic pie. Still, despite this shift, the G7 wields immense influence on the world stage. They control major reserve currencies, giving them considerable leverage in international finance, lead in technology innovation, driving global advancements, and anchor NATO, the cornerstone of Western military alliance. Their challenge? Staying relevant and maintaining their influence in a world where power is becoming more widely distributed and diffused. The G7 is undeniably no longer the only game in town, as numerous other nations and blocs assert their influence, but it remains a formidable player, possessing significant economic and political clout. Its future success depends on adapting its old world influence to navigate a new, increasingly contested landscape, characterized by shifting alliances and emerging challenges. The question, can the G7 prove it still matters in this evolving global order, and can it effectively address the pressing challenges of our time? On the other side stand the BRICS. Originally Brazil, Russia, India, China, and later South Africa. Once just a concept, BRICS has become a formal bloc, united by a desire for a greater voice in global affairs. In 2024, the group expanded, adding Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, boosting its economic and geographic reach. The BRICS are diverse, democracies, authoritarian states, and theocracies, making unity a challenge. What binds them is a shared grievance. The global system favors the West. Their mission is to reform global institutions and build alternatives like the New Development Bank. The expanded BRICS isn't trying to destroy the old order, but to create a parallel system that reflects new realities. They're demanding a seat at the table, and changing the game. Side by side we see the flags and territories of two major global players. The G7 and BRICS reveal a world in flux, a dynamic landscape where economic influence is constantly being renegotiated. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the shifting tectonic plates of global power. By purchasing power parity, BRICS now outpace the G7, a significant milestone in their economic ascent. They account for 36% of the global economy versus the G7's 30%. This demonstrates a clear shift in economic weight. The demographic gap is even wider, a key factor driving long-term economic potential. G7 nations are aging and, in some cases, shrinking, posing challenges to their future workforce and economic growth. Meanwhile, BRICS represent nearly half the world's population, offering a vast pool of labor and consumers. With new members joining their ranks, BRICS now control approximately 44% of global oil reserves, a strategic advantage in the energy sector. This gives them major leverage over energy markets, influencing prices and supply chains worldwide. The G7, meanwhile, continues to hold significant sway. They remain financial and technological powerhouses, driving innovation and setting global standards. The US dollar is still the world's dominant reserve currency, facilitating international trade and investment. And G7 countries continue to lead in high-tech sectors, from semiconductors to artificial intelligence. Of course, China is rapidly catching up, investing heavily in research and development. But the West's established innovation ecosystem, with its universities, venture capital, and entrepreneurial spirit, remains unmatched in many areas. In short, let's break it down. BRICS have numbers, vast natural resources, and growing consumer markets, while the G7 have established financial markets, advanced technology, and deeply entrenched global business networks. The balance of power is undeniably shifting, reflecting a more multipolar world. But both blocs possess unique strengths that will shape the global economy for decades to come. The contest for global influence is far from settled, and the future remains open to new possibilities and unforeseen challenges. Both blocs are playing to their strengths. The G7 is doubling down on technology, investing billions in semiconductors and supply chain security to stay ahead of China. They're also building alliances, offering infrastructure investment as an alternative to China's Belt and Road. The BRICS, meanwhile, are pushing for de-dollarization, trading in local currencies to reduce US financial dominance. They're expanding their coalition, especially in the global south, and positioning themselves as champions of a multipolar world. The new development bank is their answer to Western-led finance. The G7 wants to preserve the old order, the BRICS want to rewrite the rules. The race is on to shape the future. Neither bloc is free from internal challenges. The G7 struggles with unity as nationalism and political divisions rise within its members. Economic stagnation and aging populations threaten their long-term dynamism. For the BRICS, diversity is both a strength and a weakness. Rivalries, especially between China and India, run deep, and interests often clash. Many BRICS members face domestic crises: China's slowing economy, Russia's war in Ukraine, South Africa's instability. These internal issues can undermine their global ambitions. Both blocs must overcome internal divisions to remain credible. The real test: can they adapt and cooperate, or will their weaknesses hold them back? The answer will shape the next era of global power. The future won't be defined by one winner. Multipolarity is here to stay. Power will be shared among many. The G7 and BRICS will compete for influence, especially in the global south and in technology. But global challenges, climate change, pandemics, security, demand cooperation. Rivalry and partnership will coexist, shaping a more complex, interconnected world. The rise of the BRICS isn't the West's end, but the world's next chapter. The future will be forged in the interplay between these blocs and the nations around them. The Great Showdown is just the beginning of a new, more representative era in global history. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.